Hello, Hangsighters, and welcome to another edition of Tale Times Part 22. Whoa, what a crazy week of wrestling once again. You know, I love doing these once every few years or so. It's been about, I want to say 2016, 2015, I've been starting doing this stuff where I talk about the world of wrestling. Oh man, where do I even start? I'm not going to go ahead and talk about everything because to be honest with you, I have like a lot of time, not that much time in my hands to watch like every single part of the wrestling. Like for example, I'm not gonna really talk too much about the Hall of Fame. The only thing maybe I saw was Tori Wilson's speech, how she was talking about how fear really not overcame her part of going to the WWE and her character and all that stuff. The fans really decided to help her out along her run, and I really enjoyed Tori Wilson in her run in the WWE, so props to her. Booker T and Stevie Ray, two brothers that were destined to work the business together and be in the Hall of Fame. Especially, you know, Booker T is a two-time Hall of Famer, so congrats to him as well. One thing that really stood out, and I think you guys know where I'm going at, is the fucking idiot, fucking punk-ass bitch that decided to jump Bret Hart. I don't know what he was thinking. You know, if this was 1997 he decided to do that, I think maybe Bret could have handled himself. But what kind of guy are you to jump a dude that is 61 years old, just survived cancer, suffered a stroke a long time ago? What kind of man does that make you? That really pissed me off a little bit. But it really gave me some joy too, because Travis Brown, Teddy Hart, and Dallas Wilder both took some shots at him, especially Dallas Wilder. If you guys saw the clip, he fucking just whaled him in the nose. The mugshot afterwards, I mean, it looked like this guy just got jumped out of a bar after being said no to have another drink. He got his ass kicked. But Bret Hart and Natalia are fine, and that guy just got countered, acted with a felony charge, with assault to harm. He's gonna have trouble for a very long time. And you know, notice I'm not gonna, his name is out there, but I'm not gonna give him the attention that he deserves, because that's exactly what he wants. So fuck him, he's a pussy. And you know, before anybody says, actually some people were actually saying, oh, you know, Dash Wilder's a coward, how could he do that to a guy that was being held down by a lot of wrestlers? Well, you know, like I said before, this guy, he decided to attack Bret Hart right when he's giving out a speech, and that doesn't make him a tough guy either. So you know what, fair game to him as well for what Dallas Wilder did. I actually respected him for doing that, for the honor of pro wrestling. You don't do that. That's messed up. So yeah, that's it for that. It's a hell of a show that I watched during the weekend of pro wrestling. A lot of good matches, high flying, people just telling good psychology, and storytelling is way off the mark. One of the matches I really enjoyed was Kota Ibushi versus Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship or United States Championship. I wasn't really sure. Those guys had classes for so many years, and for them to showcase their abilities in the Madison Square Garden Arena in New York City, both of their guys' first appearances in that arena. I think most people that were in that show, they never really had a match at Madison Square Garden, probably all of them. But I mean, talk about just German suplexes, people just selling moves on their head. There was one part where Kota Ibushi did a German suplex off the top rope, and Tetsuya Naito just fell on his head. And it made it seem like he broke his neck. Like it was just like really crazy. Kota Ibushi ended up getting the win on that. Another match I enjoyed was the tag team match with the Briscoe brothers, Villain Enterprise, I think what their name is. I don't really watch that much of Ring of Honor to really know who all these guys are. I mean, that was one hell of a tag team match. Let me tell you, the Briscoe brothers still got it. They never lost a step. It just makes me think that they'll probably never go to WWE, or they really don't even need to, because those guys really represent the face of Ring of Honor. You know, Sting was the face of WCW, and AJ Styles, no matter what you say, when I see him, I just think of TNA. So if the Briscoe brothers were to go to WWE, it would be kind of surreal. Because I always imagine them as like Ring of Honor lifers, which is nothing wrong with that, but that's what they really are. Props to PCO, man. I heard a lot of reviews about that guy. He's actually an old school wrestler from the 90s and when WWF was completely suckish. But I mean, good gimmick. It's like a hybrid of The Undertaker and Frankenstein put together. And he takes a hell of a bumps for a guy who's over his 50s. I mean, fair game to him. And also Enzo and Cass jumped the barricade and tried to attack the wrestlers after the match was over. I thought, you know, because Enzo, he's used to doing this. He's gotten a lot of attention from, and most of his flack from the fans saying that he is trying to get attention and is irrelevant. I don't think so. You know, Enzo's trying to make a big name for himself. I'm actually a fan of his, so you can say whatever you want, but it fooled me. I really thought Enzo and Cass were just like fans and, you know, wanted to jump the barricade, but it turns out it's just a work, and that they were probably signed to Ring of Honor, and you know, I'm looking forward to that. And I'm glad that they also repaired their friendship as well, because Cass has said sometimes about how he's lost touch with Enzo, but I'm just glad that they were able to be a team again, and maybe we'll see what happens to them in the near future at Ring of Honor and just in the world of wrestling. So I really enjoy that. I did not watch NXT TakeOver New York, you know, because my goal for this year was not to watch too much WWE shows. That's why I wanted to watch the G1 Supercard with Ring of Honor and New Japan wrestlers. You know, oh, shout out to Juice and Thunder Liger. He's a legend, and I heard this year might be his last year, and I really respect that. So fair play to him. Okay, now we get to WrestleMania 35. WrestleMania 35 is in the books. As always, as every WrestleMania, I enjoyed this WrestleMania much than last year's. Kurt Angle's retirement, even though he faced Baron Corbin and lost, it was a little sad to see him go, even though it is time to hang up the boots, Kurt. If you guys know what I said last year about The Undertaker, it's just guys that are not really doing that well in their 50s, they just need to hang it up. And there's nothing wrong with that. Kurt is a Hall of Famer, and he's always going to be respected in the wrestling community. And fair play to him for not going off. But who knows, maybe Saudi Arabia might call up Kurt and be like, hey, you want to wrestle one more match and get that payday? You know what I mean? Who can't say no to that, but you never know. The main event with Becky Lynch and Charlotte and Ronda, to be honest with you, I don't know if, I mean, again, this is my problem with WrestleMania. I've been saying this, and I hope they listen. They just have too long of a show, man. Like, 7.5 hours? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you know, me fortunately, I ate pizza and drank some soda, and so some of the matches I didn't really care or didn't even watch because I didn't just want to drain myself out. So, but you know, that's my problem, and that's what interfered with always the main event. You know, despite Becky Lynch winning, that match was just draining, man. Like, I just really wanted it to be over at that point and just let Becky win. Turns out she won, but what happened was the way she pinned Ronda, her shoulders was up. Like, it was weird, you know. I hope they don't do a screw job on Raw or something like that, where Becky just stripped of the belt, or she loses to Ronda Rousey again. I mean, that would just be a bad decision and really just a horrible misjudge of character on WWE's part. But WWE's always done this to their wrestlers, so I'm not really that surprised. But fair play, you know. I enjoyed Becky Lynch winning. Seth Rollins beating Brock Lesnar. Like, I didn't think it was gonna open the show, just like most people, but I love the story of just Brock Lesnar being a beast as always, and everyone's thinking, oh, he's gonna do another burial, he's gonna squash Seth Rollins and retain the title like he did last year, blah 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 blah. Well, that didn't happen, did it? Did it, you marks? Seth Rollins won. He hit the curve stomp on Brock Lesnar three times. And you know, to really put that emphasis on those 3 times, because he really just wanted to burn Brock Lesnar to the ground. So he got the win, and that made Seth Rollins the new Universal Period Blood Champion. That was out of nowhere. And was also out of nowhere, it's kind of related, but I forgot to mention this earlier in the G1 Supercard. Rush, who is this Mexican pro wrestler from CMLL, squashed Dalton Castle. What? This guy is a contender. A former contender to the Ring of Honor World Championship. Like, how do you do that to that guy? Let's see what happens with Seth Rollins, and you know, no injuries will take a toll on him this time. And yeah, you know, to be honest, like, let's see, what other matches can I really talk about? Oh, I can talk about how Finn Balor as a demon beat Bobby Lashley like in a squash, and then he just turned on his friends afterwards. Maybe a new change for Dalton Castle. I kind of started to get used to the guy, but the way they squashed him was weird. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? You know, I think that's all I need to really say about the world of wrestling. You know, I just hopefully let's see what happens on Raw today. I have work later today, so maybe I might watch it back when I'm done. But hey, stay tuned, guys, and I'll see you in the next time about Raw and Smackdown. Let me tell you, I kind of liked it better than last year's Raw after Wrestlemania. It just had that feeling, you know, not the original feeling that it had 5-6 years ago when the fans were organic and the announcers weren't saying on every Raw, oh hey guys, it's a Raw after WrestleMania. It's always this way. Now it's expected for you to feel that way when you're watching especially the Raw after WrestleMania shows. But just some thoughts going in, you know, I want to point out that I am a black-skinned, red-blooded, 25-year-old Somalian, okay, who loves wrestling. But there are some thoughts that always races on as a fan that I want to address. Okay, are you telling me that Lacey Evans is a top contender or even being considered as one for Becky Lynch? Are you, what the fuck? She hasn't proven anything to even be considered as a challenger. I mean, all they've been doing with her is play her music. Oh, unconditional, sassy Southern Belle, watching out, woo. Goes back out there, tries again for another 8-9 weeks, and now they want her to face Becky Lynch and possibly beat her. No, I'm not gonna take that route, son. That irked me a little bit. I hope they don't go down that route, but they're probably going to. But hey, you know, that's why I'm here. I'm the voice, just like some fans. Sami Zayn returned. He turned heel when he was already a heel, insulting the crowd once again, saying they can go to hell. I like this new outlook that they're trying on with this guy. Maybe a Intercontinental title run. You know, if they're willing to do that, you know, we'll place him as the real bad guy of Monday Night Raw. Depending on the Superstar shakeup, which by the way, that name is so cringy. I just want to like stab my eye out with a fork every time I hear that name. I mean, at least the draft, they did it like every other year. It seems like this one is like they're trying to make it so special, but it's like every year you guys do that, and it's not really that good. We already know who might go to Raw or SmackDown. It's not a feel-good moment anymore, at least not to me. I don't know, what do you guys think about that? Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston were gonna have a title versus title match, but it was stopped by this bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, which the crowd did not like, and I knew something like that was gonna go on. There's no way that either Kofi or Seth was not gonna lose those one of those titles. It ended up being a generic house show quality tag team match with Kofi and Seth walking away as the winners, and that closes out the show. Dean Ambrose had his last match. I don't know how I feel about that. You know, when the announcement was first made that Dean Ambrose was gonna walk out of the WWE, maybe they were trying to reconsider him staying and signing his contract to a better deal. Well, obviously that did not happen, and that resulted in his last night on WWE television, at least on Monday Night Raw. I doubt he'll show up on SmackDown to say bye to the fans that are in the Barclays Center tonight. You know, I have work later also, so I might catch up as always on the SmackDown show. So look forward to that. And There's maybe one more thing these are all the things that stood out to me during the show. Elias is just getting like destroyed by it seems to be like a legend feeding time for him. WrestleMania was John Cena, the Thugonomics, which I didn't really mind, but now it's the Undertaker attaching Elias. What's next? Bret Hart's gonna attach Elias? Now that would get a pop, considering what happened to Bret Hart a couple days ago. So I don't know about that. But they gotta stop doing this with Elias. I mean, this doesn't help him, or it hurts him more than it gains. And Undertaker and John Cena, like I said, one's a part-timer, one's a legend who won't be here next week. Who's gonna be here next week? Elias. That's just too bad, you know? That's something that should be fixed. You know, because Elias, he has something. He's over with the fans, plays his guitar, even his matches. Like, he's not the best wrestler, but then again, like, that doesn't mean anything. WWE is entertainment value, you know? You don't have to be the greatest wrestler in the world to get a reaction. You know, look at Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. They get a reaction, especially, you know, Kurt Hawkins, who lost his losing streak. Now he's on a momentum with his real-life friend, Zack Ryder, who defeated the Revival. So, yeah. Just got done watching Smackdown. It looks like Lacey Evans is going to be a challenger for Becky Lynch. I still shake my head on that decision. She has nothing to prove. Or even like how WWE is even going to push her on that moment to face Becky Lynch. The Iconics came up as the tag team champions. I'm actually proud that they won the belts because they seem like a real team that could do something for those titles and benefit themselves. The Hardys won the other tag team titles, and it's the Usos. I don't mind that. You know, it gives them something to do, and we'll see like a lot of good matches between them and the Usos later down the road. And then that large guy came in and just demolished the Hardys, and he also took out Kurt Angle. You know, this is the same guy who we're supposed to be taking seriously, but he was so nervous to debut because of his anxiety issues. I mean, I can't really look at him the same way, so, yeah. I mean, Smackdown is just like a alrighty show. There's nothing really like to point out that I didn't talk about. And I'm just really too tired to really do that. I mean, this is like one of those long weeks, but that's that. Stay tuned, and I'll create some more content to you guys as always in the near future. Whoa. Peace.